And last thing I really wanted to chat with you about before I get into some smaller segments is you being such an advocate for animal shelters, which I just absolutely love, and I wanted to hear you talk about this a little bit. Why animals? What's so important about this to you?
As long as I have been on this earth, I have loved animals. Like, I've always loved dogs, I've always loved cats. If I can pet it, I will pet it.
Hmm.
But I got involved in shelter work actually when I was still living out in Virginia. I used to volunteer at a local animal shelter out in West Virginia. And I had gotten so involved with one animal in particular. We were raising money for him because he had no ability in his back legs. They found him as a stray, and you could tell that he was in a very terrible situation. We don't know what had been through, but you could tell it wasn't something good.
Yeah.
And I had used my music to kind of put a little fundraiser. Well, I was asked to come out for a fundraiser event they were having, and I came out and played, and we were raising money for him. And we had raised quite a bit of funds, and we were getting him into physical therapy treatment, laser treatment. We were trying to save up to get him a little wheelchair, and everything was going good. And then it just kind of like we reached that peak, and it just kind of went downhill from there. And unfortunately, he was just deteriorating. They felt that he may have been also struggling with cancer. And we just had to really assess his quality of life. And at that point, he was starting to suffer. So unfortunately, we did have to lay him to rest. It was like a week or two before Christmas back in 2021. And it was actually the very first animal I've ever been around that we had to lay to rest, and it was very, very sad. But at that moment, I kind of vowed that I wanted to help as many animals as I could find their forever home. So I helped volunteer at the shelter, and I came up with my own segment called Take Me Home Thursday, where I would spotlight a shelter dog every week, do a little video of them, and kind of talk about what they would need in a household in hopes that somebody out there may fit the criteria and that they could be their forever parent. And I was able to get over 30 animals adopted
Wow.
within that year at the shelter. And I've just always loved animals. To the two crazy creatures I have running around here during this interview are shelter babies. I adopted baby Raven, which is my little black cat, back in 2021. And I adopted her in West Virginia from a cat sanctuary. And then I actually just recently adopted my even crazier cat, Jared, from through here. See a lot. I have a very good place in force animals, really, but nothing against animals are bred, anything as long as profit. I always, all the, my first ever a pure bug, and feels breeder doing everything they should correctly, the breed, the raise, documentation, everything like that. Nothing bred animal. I just have soft in my heart for the shelter babies.
Well, I love that, man. I saw that as part of your bio, and I was just like, man, we have to talk about that. Is there a specific shelter you'd like for us to put into the description below that people can check out, or?
They could check out the one in West Virginia. It's called the Mercer County Animal Shelter. They're always looking to raise money for the shelter, and they have different adoption events and different fundraiser events they have. They also do post about animals that they encounter that
Okay.
may need some vet help, whether they're in a really terrible situation. And of course, they run solely off of donations.
All right.
So anything can definitely help,
Well,
but
I
that's
will
one in
find a link for
particular.
them, and we'll put that in the description below if you want to help in Mackenzie's name.